I was talking this morning about belief and about a quotation from Wittgenstein where he talks about the hand. That quotation that begins on certainty, where it says, if you can say here is one hand, I'll grant you all the rest. What I was trying to spin out there was some kind of relationship between what I see as different kinds of certainties, the certainties which are very much of the subject, a kind of Cartesian certainty based on a kind of certainties of oneself, really. The grounds for doubting the existence of oneself are entirely lacking. So there's if not certainty itself, then certainly a source of certainty, which feels like it's at the core of your being. And then I was talking about this other form of certainty, which is the kind of certainty that's established through various evidential methods, but which is experienced not as internal, not as part of oneself, but in the external world something. Its existence as a belief, as a certainty, as a fact, all those kind of entities is verified by extrapersonal, interpersonal kind of verification processes, the accumulation of evidence and so on. And what I was saying with that, God, it's a long introduction. What I was saying with that is this idea of the hand that Wittgenstein talks about is, for me, a kind of point of contact between the two certainties. There's a kind of Heideggerian engagement there between self and the world, which allows these certainties to connect. I've just been thinking about, really, in relation to that, is, and which confuses the picture a little bit for myself, I have to say, is I'm kind of painting this picture of empirical certainties, the kind of facts that are produced by science, for example, as inevitably being, well, it can be kind of being condemned to an externality, an exteriority, a distancing, a detachment, a placing over there, kind of abstraction, if you like, a distancing, which is, I guess, is necessary for the reasons I've spoken about before. But at the same time, in a sense, I think I'm also reinforcing a kind of cold-blooded, sterile understanding of scientific knowledge, which isn't really what I feel. And the reason why I say there's something confusing in there is because there is also something of a history of scientific language, writings about scientific knowledge, which very much uses the language of touch. And doesn't use this kind of distanced language of seeing, if you like, the language that distances and holds things up for visual scrutiny. So here, in terms of kind of scientific evidencing processes for that, as I say, there's something of a history of it. Phoebe, come out from there. Come on. The first example is something like Francis Bacon. There was a really nice little little program on Radio 4 about Francis Bacon recently. And one of the things it was saying about that was that it's the way that he talks about scientific discovery, and he's kind of one of the founders of the scientific method. And he wrote Novum Organum. He's kind of describing a scientific method, if you like. The way he talks about that is very much tactile language. He's talking about wresting nature, wresting secrets from nature. It's very aggressive language, actually, very, I guess you would say, phallocentric. But it's very aggressive, very hands-on, very manual and tactile. It almost seems like a rape sometimes he's talking about it. Kind of ripping the secrets from nature's chest, really. Which, and the language is aggressive, but it is the language of the hand, and it is the language of touch. And, bringing it a bit more up to date, although not very up to date, some of Einstein's writing, he talks about touch in relation to scientific knowledge, and about a kind of sympathetic touch, I think is a phrase that I've heard assigned to him. I don't know if he said it or somebody said it about his approach. That his approach to science, whilst it is trying to produce these facts which do stand the test of interpersonal engagement and can be stood apart from and can acquire certainties around them through these distancing methods, nevertheless can also be engaged with through, as I say, this sympathetic touch. And here I'm reminded of I think the word sympathy itself has something to do with feeling together, a kind of shared embodiment. I think the path bit of sympathy is the same path that's in pathology and empathy. Phoebe, guy, come out of there, come on. My dogs have just helped themselves and went into somebody's shed. Come on, pups. So I think Einstein's sympathetic touch and perhaps less attractively Francis Bacon's approach to the wrestling of nature's secrets betrays a kind of ambition, at least, to maintain some kind of physical contact, some kind of hands-on relationship with the knowledge produced by the scientific method, even as it's simultaneously pushing it away and giving it an independent life. Oh, what's up now? My dog's decided to lie down. He's doing this. I think he's not very well. Come on, guy. Oh, there he goes. I fixed him.